Hi everybody, my name is Vaibhav. I'm from Aussizz Group. Today we are going into the panel discussion and covering a recent changes and the topics including latest innovation round report for 25th of May. We are going to cover about a Victoria State nomination that has come up and recently closed down yesterday, and what are likely to happen, what is likely to happen now. We are going to talk about Queensland coming up changes, I guess, from Queensland as well, and a short explanation about 858 visa. And I have my colleagues from different places from Australia. So I have Kunal from Melbourne, Saurabh from Melbourne, Vaishali from Adelaide, and Malay from Queensland. So we'll be covering all the topics. Now, first, we'll start with the latest invitation round report. So we'll go to Vaishali for that. So Vaishali, can you please explain uh, what what was the report for 2020 May 2020 report that invitation occurred on 25th of May?
Yeah, sure. So there was an invitation round for 189 and 491 family sponsored the 25th of May. And strangely, there were no invitations in any other occupations except a few medical occupations, such as registered nurses, medical lab scientists, or emergency medicine specialists. Now, this is an internally collected data, so we are relying on the information that we have obtained through different Aussizz offices. There may be just a sporadical occupation list which would have been invited, but currently I think we will be relying mainly the data collected on Aussizz from Aussizz offices. I'd just like to share the invitation round for 189 for registered nursing. Now the cutoff had been 85 and the last cutoff date had been 4th of December 2019 according to our information. So nurses with 85 points were invited under 189. 491 has been more fortunate. There was an invitation with 75 as well, and the cutoff has been 3rd of March 2020. So those who have recently submitted their EOS for 491, luckily they have been invited with even 75 points. Medical lab scientist, there is a data like the last cutoff date has been 9th of November, and the cutoff point has been 85. So those under 189 submitted their EOI with 85 were invited. And there is one more occupation, emergency medicine specialist, where the EOI point had been 90 and the cutoff date was October last year, October 2019, specifically 22nd of October. So this is what we have on our tables. Apart from this, it doesn't seem there were any other occupations invited. So no invitations for accountants, for any IT occupants, engineers. Mainly nursing or the medical professions has been the focus of this invitation round. And I think 491 nurses has been the most fortunate ones with just 75 points being the invitation cutoff.
Right. So I would sum it up like saying that this invitation round was specifically for the health professionals,
Yeah.
and they have been very fortunate because they were always left behind because of IT, accounting, and engineering fields. Obviously, no offenses to them as well because every occupation is important, but most of the nurses were not able to make up enough points because of there is no professional year program available like IT, accounting, and engineering fields. So yes, it's a very good invitation round for especially for health professionals. Um, I understand while accountants and engineers and IT professionals might have to wait probably for July round only, where they can probably see a good news for themselves. Now we'll go to Kunal. Kunal, can you also tell us about Victoria nomination? But before I go to Kunal, I would like to tell our viewers. So you guys can still post the questions online on the Facebook. We will answer that once we complete our session. So we will reply to you by the messages. We are just going to cover all the points, but you can still raise all your questions or throw your questions on our online portal and under the comment box, and then we will try and respond back to you within maximum of 12 hours. We'll try to be as soon as possible, but maximum 12 hours we'll try and respond to all of your queries. So Kunal, yes, can you tell us about recent closure of Victoria State Nomination Program, as we have seen that many people have got refusals yesterday?
Certainly. So hi everyone. I would be covering on the recent closure on the Victorian state applications for both the state nomination visa, which is 190, as well as for the 491, which is the regional nomination visas. I would rather say yesterday was the darkest day for Victoria applicants. The way things have been, there was a lot of hope which was brought up by 491 visa specifically for accountants or pro rata occupations, wherein with an offer letter they were able to apply for 491 visas, and points were not being considered, as you were still able to apply with the minimum points of 65 itself. But yesterday Victoria has came up with an announcement that they would be closing down the applications for both 190 state nomination and the regional nomination until the end of this financial year. Now, pretty much we were getting questions regarding that this is going to be till the calendar year. So the answer to that is no. They have only mentioned that it would be to the end of the financial year, which means only 30th of June, and they would be obviously restarting the program on in July. They haven't mentioned any specific date, but Victoria has always been pretty good and quick in terms of restarting the program whenever it has actually stopped, even in the last few financial years when the number of applications have been more than what they were expecting. So the reason basically which was given by the state for closing or not accepting any further applications was that they have received more than the number of applications they were expecting at the first place. They came out with an announcement on the 4th of May itself that they are taking more time than what actually the time the state was taking in terms of processing an application. So usual processing time for Victoria is say 12 weeks, in which they give you an outcome in most cases. But they were taking longer than that to give an outcome for an application. So they announced that firstly they would rather be taking more time due to the demand and the number of applications they were receiving. And on the 28th, they have finally said they are not going to take any further applications for either 190 and also for 491. Now, the news which came out was also mentioning that it would come up with a waiver of 6 months, which was basically there at the first place, that if you get a refusal from the Victorian state for either a 190 or a 491, you cannot make another application for another 6 months with them. So they also mentioned with the closure that you would be also getting the waiver for that 6 months, which means if anybody who has got a refusal of the application, they can always reapply within 6 months or as soon as in July when they will reopen the applications for both these 491 as well as 190. And wasn't to our surprise that in late in the evening they have refused uh, all of the 190 applications which were due to be finalized. So that's all what has happened. But as I said, they have clearly mentioned they're going to restart the program and come up with the program again on as the new financial year would begin. And again, what would happen in July is something which I believe we can discuss. Saurabh is there to further take it up, and then he can advise you on what we are anticipating. As such, we haven't got any specific information from them, but Saurabh can further discuss on what we are expecting in July, what's going to come up.
Okay, so thank you very much, Kunal. So to summarize, I would say that yes, while it is a bad news, but health professionals, specifically nurses, doesn't have to worry a lot because there is a likely chances that the state nomination program will reopen in July. So it's not very far from now because it's only 1 month gap from today. So most likely early July, the Victorian government will probably start the invitation back again. And if they do start, you can apply because there is a waiver available that for the 6 months waiting period or 6 months ban that you get with these refusals. Right now, I'll take the views from Saurabh as well because Saurabh is also from Victoria. So, what's your view on Victoria State Nomination Program, Saurabh?
Um, Hi guys. So I'm Saurav. I'm a registered migration agent as well. And I think with the yesterday's announcement by Victoria, where they have actually refused all those applications for 190 days, pretty much every single application that was submitted, I think from March or maybe end February onwards, they all been refused based on the same that their nomination places have already been filled. So pretty much what I can say is that and it has already been done for the financial year. Rather than a lot of people are confused, they're trying to contact us saying that so do they have to wait for another 1 year, that they will not be eligible in 2020 anymore. They will have to apply in 2021. So it's not the case. It's a financial year which starts from 1st of July, ends on 30th of June. So we have another 30 days. So hopefully when the Victoria do starts in the next financial year, it could be the 1st of July as well. So what I would say is just hand tight and trying to, if you're already in Victoria, trying to look for an employer, continue to enhance your skills and stuff. So it actually, if the eligibility do changes as well, you would still have, you have already upskilled yourself. So that means that you better have a opportunity to actually get the nomination from Victoria. And another thing is, as the email from Victoria says that that regarding the ban as well. So the automatic waivers have already been put in place by Victoria. So hopefully, um, there's, as they already advised that all the applications being refused due to the nominations being refused, there's not going to be any waiting period for them to reapply. So that's a little hope for the people who have actually got their nominations refused yesterday. And
And I
when it
have,
comes to the
sorry,
new,
sorry,
yeah,
Saurabh, I have a question here. So does that ban does that ban apply to everybody, or only the ban is ban is waived just for health professionals?
I think it's because it's not only for health professionals, I guess, because it's there are other nomination of applications that have also been refused, such as for engineering technologists as well.
Yep.
So what I would I'd suggest is, I think they would have been put a waiver for for the nomination which have been refused because of the places already been filled. So they would have some kind of a mechanism where they would know that if they have sent a refusal for one particular application because of the nomination places being filled, there is already waiver in place for that application as well, unless the application has been refused on a different grounds rather than the nomination places being filled.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So is there anything else that you would like to add?
I think from if the Victoria is planning on changing their eligibility criteria, we cannot actually predict that as well. So the better option is to just wait until see, if there are any updates from Victoria themselves,
Yes.
or yeah, if once we get to know more about the new changes or new eligibility criteria from Victoria, from any industry bodies like Migration Institute Australia, etc., then only it's better to comment on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Saurabh. So basically, to summarize, what you are suggesting the applicants who have been refused for a state nomination is that you should wait, hold on there, and wait there only. Continue to be employed, whatever you're doing, basically in your occupation. If you're working, if you have a job offer, start your work, and then whenever the state nomination reopens, you have already established yourself being committed to Victorian state nomination authorities, basically to live and work in Victoria. So you already demonstrated your commitment to continue to live and work in Victoria and settle in future, right? So
Exactly.
so basically, and we don't want to create any any rumors, or let's say any problems for people who think that, oh, there will be a changes. So don't worry. If obviously if there are going changes going to happen in Victoria state nomination, nobody can do anything about it. Victorian government will assess their program and come back with the changes if there are any. But if not, obviously the criteria will probably remain same if they're not changing anything else. Now we'll talk about
And can I add one thing,
yes.
Weber? And with the nomination applications that have been actually refused, there are only 190 nomination applications. So touch wood, like fingers crossed, 491 applications are still in process. Like they are not accepting any new ones, and we haven't heard anything about those applications being refused due to the nomination places being filled at the
Okay.
moment. So
Yep.
they still they still hope.
I'll add something here as well, Weber, and sort of pretty much the plan which obviously was introduced in November was obviously to take the focus from the state nomination towards the regional nomination and family sponsored visas. And this looks like more of a sign wherein they have only refused the applications for 190, and hopefully if that doesn't happen to 491 applications, what it means is that the requirement would either become equivalent for the state nomination to what it is for 491, because I believe this is a little different in the program which they have at the place, wherein they require the graduates to apply even if they have a job offer of 6 months validity or 20 hours a week. And on the contrary, the 491 requirement is standard, which is 12 months of, employment, which is a full-time position, and also for 12 months validity. So I think this is more likely bringing in alignment to, the plan, which is for 491 and 190, that this step has been taken. And I wouldn't say that people should really be panicking, because, there have been, I mean, they have clearly indicated that they will reopen in 1 month itself, which might be in July anytime. What they have not come up with dates so far, but that should happen in July. If so, and if the requirements will not be changing, then definitely they can reapply, with the same conditions which were there before.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you very
I
much,
think
Kunal and Saurabh. So yes, I get the idea that we don't want to create any panic, but yes, there is a chances that the criteria remains the same, or there's a chances that the criteria can change a little bit,
Yeah.
depending on they will obviously Victoria will have to assess their current program and see what were the results they were able to achieve those results or not that they were targeting. But we do understand that yes, we are not creating any panic by saying that there is a possibility, but there is a possibility, not 100% news. So we'll have to wait for the announcement from Victoria to see whether they're keeping the same criteria. From my experience, I think yes, it's likely to be the same, but yes, there is a slight possibility that they might make small changes in their program.
Yeah.
Right. So I will now move to next topic, which is Queensland state nomination. So Malay, can you tell us about what are the possible changes coming up in Queensland state nomination program?
Thank you, Vaibhav. This is Malay here. I'm a registered migration agent from Aussizz Group, Brisbane. So recently, Queensland has a seminar for the upcoming migration session for the next financial year. So they have coming up with the new update, like they are going to make a changes for the new management quota. Like before, it used to be like they have total 1,000 quota for the 190 visa and 1,000 quota for the 491 visa. So whenever they're going to open in July, they usually put all the quota in the financial year, and most of the times, all the applicants doing the EOI, and the quota is filled up within like a 1 day or 2 day. So usually they close within a day or two. So many applicants who are eligible in like month of September, October, or middle of the financial year, they're not able to apply for the state nomination visa. So this time they are going to come up with a new system, like they are going to come with the month-to-month quota. So they are going to open for this certain quota for a first month, then they are going to open up for after a couple of months with certain quota. So every time they are going to open up with the, like, let's suppose if we give example, they are going to open up with the 250 quota in month of July. Second time they are going to open in month of October with 250 quota. That's what they have said in recent seminar of the Queensland State Migration. So it used to be like 1,000 quota for a whole financial year, and they are going to introduce new quota for this financial year in month of October. Like usually state government introduce the quota in month of July itself, like the new financial year. But for this Queensland State Commission, this time they have mentioned they are going to introduce new quota only in October month. So it used to be in July, but they are going to open in July again, but if with the limited quota, but the full quota will be released in October month only. So it may be the reason of due to the current corona situation, many of the businesses are not, like they are not operating, or so many applicants have lost their jobs in their particular occupation. So maybe they are not eligible. So it's like just for the people who are not working at the moment and due to the corona situation. So they are going to start work again as soon as the things will be settled down again. So as soon as they will start work again, they are eligible to apply in October month. So that's how they are going to update the new quota in month of October, rather than they are going to introduce the quota in month of July. So that was the very first update from the Queensland. Second update is like they have mentioned to the applicants, like, come up with the decision ready applications. So like usually applicants doesn't have a job offers, they're applying for the EOI, and they're just wasting the state nomination quota. So Queensland has come up with the new criteria, like if they are eligible only, then they will pick the EOI. Otherwise, they will not pick up any single EOI if you are not eligible. So if you have everything in your hand, like if you're currently working with like XYZ employer with like three months for the 491 visa, or 6 months for the 190 visa full time, only then you are eligible to apply for the EOI. So not any other single applicant will eligible to apply for the EOI if you are not meeting the criteria for the Queensland. So that was the changes. That will be the changes going to happen in month of July. So keep an eye on that updates, like whenever they are going to release the occupation list in July. they will publish some more criteria as well. Like I am expecting like they are going to make some changes in occupation list as well. Like they are going to give more priority to the registered nurse and health practitioners rather than going to give an invitation to the other occupation, as they have mentioned like the nurse will be first priority in the Queensland. So they will maybe open for the, like they will come up with a new quota for the nurses as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Malay. So to summarize, I would say that yes, what you're saying is that they will be allocating monthly allocations for each nomination program, including 190 and 491, to maintain to ensure that the program and the numbers are available throughout the financial year.
Correct.
So, and about the October, probably this is also something, this has something to do with the government's announcement as well, that they are likely to restructure the allocations of the migration programs or migration planning levels in coming financial year. Now, I'll go back to Vaishali about, just to get an update from you as well about South Australia state nomination. Do you have any updates on South Australia nomination program as of now?
Yeah, so as of now, like it's just that there has been a special priority to health practitioners so far. They have the current processing time has definitely reduced. Like for a while during the COVID peak period, it had been almost three months or longer. But now they have started picking up files in just about a week or so. So definitely there is a faster processing now. But the main focus has still been nurses and other health practitioners. They are picked and decided really quickly. The others are processed in queue. But yes, the processing time has definitely decreased for all of them. And then let's see, we are just hoping for the next financial year, they may remove the difficult conditions that they have imposed for 190 against all other occupations. But it's just a kind of wild hope. We're not sure if the department still wants them to focus only on 491. They may have a higher work experience requirement if they want applicants to be eligible for 190. Otherwise, compared to 190, 491 has definitely been made a bit easier, or look it a bit easier. For nursing, definitely it's easy because all the work experience requirement has been waived. For registered nurses, though not for enrolled nurses. These are the most popular professions, especially from outsiders. There are many interstate applicants who move to South Australia in pursuit of nursing or other trade occupations. But so far, they have kept these occupations only for 491. So yeah, we are just looking forward to July, just to see if they would be more open for 190, more welcoming for 190.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Vaishali. So South Australia, I think the process hasn't changed a lot, except they have started inviting more of nurses, because obviously all of the states are prioritizing nursing applicants, because we do really need nurses to fight this COVID-19 situation.
Yeah,
now,
a quick thing, like
yes.
there is a particular profession, chef, like it definitely shows open on the list for 190. But even if you are meeting the requirements, I think they have currently met the quota. It has not been updated on their site, but we have received some emails from the case officer that it may not nominate once again them for 190, even if they are meeting the requirements. So particularly the chef occupation.
So what do you suggest, that hold on to the application or lodge an application, but they will nominate you after July only?
Yeah, no, it's not that. Like they will be trying to finalize these applications, but instead of 190, they will be offering 491. We still recommend you to go for 491 if you qualify, because you never know what changes will there be in after July. So 491 is definitely better than having nothing.
That's right. I agree with you, Vishali, that if you don't be very greedy and say that you only want to take 190, if you are getting an invitation for 491, take it, because you never know what's going to happen to your 190 application.
Yeah.
Right? Now the next topic is about NSW state nomination, that I will cover up, because I'm from NSW as well, so from Sydney. Now NSW program 190, it's pretty much the same as before. You have to lodge an expression of interest and wait for the invite. However, an NSW government has started inviting more nursing professionals. As I said, that most of the states are prioritizing the nursing or health professionals for nomination programs right now. And same thing goes with NSW as well. In the last invitation round, we have seen applicants with 80 and 85 points meeting the state nomination criteria for 190 NSW have gotten some of them have got an invitation, depending on their number of years of experience and number of and as well as the English language proficiency. But NSW government actually invites people based on a combination of factors, including your work experience, your English language ability, whether you're living and working in NSW or not, and your occupation. So, but there is not a big change. And for a 491, again, there is no update on that. Hopefully, they will open up in July only now, because this year's doesn't seem to be the 491 doesn't seem to be coming up in this financial year. Now, the financial year, I mean, is from obviously July, it will reset to zero. So hopefully from July 2020, the NSW government might open up the 491 program, but the likely chances that the requirement will remain the same, which is living and working in regional NSW for at least 12 months. If you're in stream 1, and if you're in stream 2, you must have studied in regional NSW for 2 years within, and study must have been completed within last 12 months. Now, the next topic that we are going to cover is Northern Territory. Now I'll go back to Malay again. Malay, would you be able to help us with the information on a Northern Territory state nomination?
Sure. Northern Territory has the same criteria as before. Like they don't have many changes with the criteria at the moment. Like it used to be like if you are working in Northern Territory for at least 6 months, and if you are living there since 6 months as well, they are going to nominate you for the state nomination for the 491 visa for the Northern Territory. But for the if we talk about the 190 visa for the Northern Territory, they at least required you to be working there for 3 years. Like they have said, like 6 months. If you have longer commitment, we will give you the 190, but we haven't seen any 190 granted after the 6 months of experience. So usually if you are a recent graduate from the Northern Territory Institute for like 2 years, if you have studied master's degree or any other studies, they will invite you for the 190 visa, or either if you have 3 years of experience, they will give you the priority for 190 visa. If you're living in Northern Territory for like 3 years, and if you're working as well, they will give you more priority compared to like they will give you the 190 compared to 491. So most of the applicants I have seen, like they're coming to us and they're going for the Northern Territory and they are expecting like I will get 190 visa after 6 months of experience. But that's not the case. If you are living and working in Northern Territory for 3 years only, they are giving prioritize for the 190. Otherwise, you have to get 491 visa only. So currently, they are even I recently we got couple of updates from the Northern Territory for the Section 48 conditions. If you have if you have visa refusal and if you apply for the Northern Territory state nomination, but if you show the travel plan, like if you are able to show the tickets like going out to the country, they are still giving the invitation to the Section 48 conditions with the applicants at the moment. So I have recently contacted with one of the case officers from the state nomination from the Northern Territory, and they have requested the client to show the tickets like you are able to go outside of Australia at the moment, and they are still granting the invitations even if you have like subjected to Section 48 in your visa applications, because currently most of the states are not offering any invitations if you have Section 48 condition on your visa. So only the Northern Territory state, which is the corona free at the moment, and they are giving the invitation with the Section 48 conditions applicants at the moment.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Malay. And I'll go back to Kunal again for the details on the Tasmania state nomination. So, Kunal, would you be able to help our viewers with the information on Tasmania nomination requirement?
Sure, Vaibhav, thanks. So pretty much, for Tasmania, there has not been much change in the requirements which they had before. But then we do get a lot of inquiries from clients in terms of people who move there from Victoria or different states in order to, get the 491 or 190, which is based on the studies which they have to do here. So what basically they have is they have got 491 and both 190 available. And there are specific categories in which you can apply if you want to apply either for 491. With 491, you have got options of either you can go to study there, either you can go to work there. Also, if you have got a business plan, or if you have been operating a business there, then you can also apply for a 491 there. So these options are available. Also, there's an option available for people who are from overseas if they have their occupation in the Tasmanian state occupation list, or for people who are overseas who have got a job offer there. So these all options are available, people. I would rather be discussing one by one each option, and would give you a brief about every option. So people who are really planning to move to Tasmania, or they are in Tasmania and they are studying there for 1 year, which is a requirement, minimum study requirement one has to do in order to get the 491. There were a lot of people when this program started. They have all gone there to study diploma of leadership and management, and gradually we have seen that the state has started refusing few applications, specifying the fact that it's not bringing in anything on table for the state, and they are preferring applicants who would come to state rather to study something which is in demand there. So they have come up with specific streams. If you are willing to go to Tasmania, look for studying in those streams. If your plan is to study, a diploma or anything higher than that, and that is where the probability of you getting based on study there for 1 year will definitely be higher. So the group or the occupations which they have which they are in demand basically includes engineering, people who have actually been studying courses which relates to engineering. They have been talking about community service courses, if that's something which interests you and you are willing to do there. They have been talking about courses which relates to different trades. The trade occupations have obviously vast number of occupations available, starting from commercial cookery to automotive to construction trades workers. So these sort of courses, what you should rather be preferring and looking out there. And then aged care as well in the, in the, I would say in the sector of within hospitality, wherein you have experience on that, and you consider doing some course which relates to aged care, then that's what is the preference for state in terms of the courses which you are planning to do there. With the child care, aged care, and community care courses, they have asked for you to at least study a diploma level course. However, they are also going to accept the certificate 3 in early child care if you are planning to do, and if you have taken that course before 1st of January 2020. So long story short, if you are planning to go, or if you have moved there and if you're doing a course which is in demand of the state, the chances of your 491 would be much higher comparatively to if you pick up a course which is a leadership course, or which is not bringing anything or benefiting the state in the longer run. Following to this is based on the experience. If you plan to go there for working for 6 months, so the very first thing which one should know is that Tasmania requires you to work full time for 6 months, be it applying for a 491 or for 190. You can do any work there which is on these, which is defined by ANSCO level. For example, if it's an ANSCO level, you're working as an accountant at a managerial level. Those sort of occupations are being defined with the ANSCO level 1 or ANSCO level 2. So if you are doing work for 6 months full time with at least 35 hours a week, then you can also apply based on experience itself. And if your experience is in a work which is at the level of ANSCO level 4 or 5, definitely labor market testing is required, or the employer will have to justify why exactly why not someone from the local market. So pretty much, if you see you have got good experience in another state and you have got jobs available in Tasmania, because a lot of clients really come back, and ask us, they're not good jobs available. But if you see you can get a transfer from your current employer, and if they have offices in Tasmania, then this is one of the good options you can look at. Or if you have skills in a specific field, you can consider this. We also get a lot of inquiries from clients who basically require, in terms of business, if they want to plan and go. So pretty much they would want you to have, at least be running a business for 6 months when you're making an application. And you should come up with a plan for a business which specifies that it should be able to make you a minimum income of 54,000, for the next 3 years when you would get the 491. So there have not been much of success in people who have been trying, because you would have to come up with some different idea than the regular business franchisees models, because franchisees what they are really not interested in. So if you are basically looking for opening up a fuel station, a 7-Eleven or something which is more of a franchisee based more business model, they are not really interested in you to open that, but to come up with something which should again bring some benefit for the state. That's for 491. Again, you also have a choice of applying if you are an offshore applicant. If your occupation is on the Tasmanian state occupation list and you are meeting the minimum experience requirements, so you could refer to the list and then see if you are meeting and you're offshore, you can make an application based on that as well. For the ones which are not on the occupation list for Tasmania, you'll have to have a job offer if you are willing to make an application. And that is where the state would consider case to case basis whether they would want to invite you. So all these are the options available, during the current time. But again, as Male mentioned about Section 48 bar applicants, there have been a lot of people who have already made applications, but most of the states are not, processing those applications, and which is again for the benefit of the applicant itself, because you've been given 60 days from that to make an application, and if you're not able to travel, what it means is you definitely would lose the invitation as well. And when you would reapply again, it's beyond the state's control. With the demand most of the states have and the number of applicants, that they may not even invite you over again. So it's best they are withholding the applications, and with the Section 48 barred applicants who cannot really travel in order to make an application. For 190, the requirements have been pretty straightforward that you have to either study there for 2 years. Again, my recommendation to all my clients have always been, study something which what the state requires you to study there. So if you are picking up a course which is on the Tasmanian state occupation list or which is in demand there, definitely it is more beneficial for the state to give you 190. Otherwise, a lot of people who have even studied there for 2 years, despite of the fact that they are eligible for 190, state has offered them 491. So if you are studying something which is in demand in the state, they would prefer giving you 190. Or otherwise, for 6 months of full-time work, if you have a job which is available for 6 months full-time and that occupation is on the Tasmanian state occupation list, then you can make another 190 application based on that as well. So that's pretty much has been the requirement for Tasmanian for this year. And yeah, so it continues to be the same.
Sure. Thank you very much, Kunal, for the insights and very much detailed actually. We really appreciate providing a detailed information because that helps the clients understanding what are the requirement at the moment for a state nomination program. Now, before we close the today's discussion panel, I would like to also inform about a subclass 858 visa, which is a distinguished talent visa. Now, this visa is only available for the candidates who can prove that they are exceptionally skilled in their domain, and specifically the government is looking in the nominations in particular fields including agriculture technology, medical technology, financial technology, cybersecurity, energy and mining industries, right? So if you do fall in any of these categories, and if you have completed either a research degree within last 3 years, or if you are employed in your profession and you are earning above $148,700 a year, or if you're even close by, you can always try for this visa as well, because there is no specific requirement that you have to be earning. If you are in this field and if you can show that you will be able to earn this much, or you have a job contract or an offer of employment with this about this salary, which is 148,700 per annum. So if you have either a research degree or if you're working in any of these professions and you can show that you can earn this much money, then this is the right visa for you, because the government has almost 5,000 places and hardly 500 places have been filled. I think I'm even saying 500 is more, even not 500 has not been filled. Close to 300 plus or something has already been filled. But as you can see, it's a very huge program, and there are less candidates because of the less awareness of this visa program. So if you do have a research degree, or if you're able to show that you're able to earn at least 148,700 or more per annum, then this is the right visa for you if you're in any of these sectors. So if you do have a questions, please feel free to leave the questions in the comment box, and we will be able to answer those questions very shortly. Our team is working on that. And um, I think, is there anybody else from the panel who want to add anything about the recent changes or anything at all? So I take it as a no, right, guys? Okay,
Uh,
so yes, that's all. Thank you for watching us today, guys, and we will be back from time to time on such discussion panels where we will give you the insights about what's happening around and what you should, because right now what you should do, because right now the migration programs are switching a lot, and it's so dynamic that the things keeps changing very quickly, and if you don't really have a proper knowledge, and if you don't have any proper updates, then you will not be able to get your application through. So if you're doing your application on your, completely fine, just make sure that you get the right information by, and probably watch us every time we go live so that you can at least get the right information and help your application yourself. If you're not confident, you can always contact a nearest office of Aussizz Group. We are located in Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth and Adelaide. So thank you very much today once again, and thank you, Kunal, Saurabh, Vaishali, and Malay for joining and sharing your insights and the knowledge that you guys hold. Once again, thank you, viewers, for watching us.
Thank you.